What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we are talking about another one of the Dumont Nitro fragrances. This time we're talking about Nitro Green. So this will be familiar to a lot of people. It's very similar to a particular fragrance we'll discuss shortly with its own little twist. And this was sent out to me by the folks over at the Perfume Box. I do appreciate them sending it my way. I've been able to check out this Nitro line because of them. So I'm thankful for it, because a lot of people have asked me about my opinions on these. And I've been kind of exploring and navigating through. This is the third one so far in my release. And as far as the releases that they've put out so far. And 3 for 3 on Beastly Performance, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But let's dive into this review. Stay tuned. So we'll take a quick look at the presentation. I do like their bottles. I really do, with this kind of faux leather wrap. Has the stitching going around, says Nitro on the tab. A lot of Nitro branding. There's two right there. You have it on this little metal tassel hanging right here. You have it again on the cap. That's 4 spots where it says Nitro alone. It's actually quite the hefty bottle. Fragrance info here on the bottom. So the Parfum cap does hold strongly into place, as you can see. And then it's a lot of metal with a little bit of plastic filling. It's a hefty cap, and then solid atomizer. Let's talk about this scent. So when this opens up, you're going to be very clearly reminded of these, Ultra Male and 9 p.m. There's differences. Just like there's slight differences between these two, there's a grander difference with this versus the other two. I might even do this in the thumbnail, the way it looks just like that. Because you get this beautiful pear note, this fresh fruity tone. It's not as fruity sweet. Still a very sweet fragrance, but the fruity sweetness is dialed back because it's a pear note, whereas here it's green apple. It's very fruity sweet in the top, but it's a little bit smoother. It's not as scratchy and synthetic as Ultra Male. Here, I would equate similar smoothness to what you get with 9 p.m., but there's a little bit of a green tone, this fir balsam and other green notes, but biggest takeaway for me, this is metallic. It still has that Ultra Male sweetness with a little bit of spice. It's not fruity like 9 p.m. If anything, the little bit of fruitiness you get is kind of similar to Ultra Male. It's not real fruity sweet. Still has all the sweetness, but not fruity sweet like 9 p.m. Metallic with a little bit of a green element kind of floating underneath. Not as green as you would think with the name and the color, but clearly has a green nuance to it. I would say kind of fresh green more than earthy green. Not really all that green and spicy, but then again, it could be mixing with the other spices that was already in there, cinnamon, cardamom, whatever it is. But that metallic tone, and it's a little touch powdery on my skin. So in some ways, you got to pick your poison here. Which flavor do you like more? Because they're all very similar and redundant to one another, but they all have their differences. With this being probably the biggest departure from Ultra Male, whereas 9 p.m. is closer to Ultra Male. But this has more elements of 9 p.m. than Ultra Male. Like, I know it kind of sounds confusing the way I'm doing it, and you know, the way I'm explaining my thoughts, but like, it's not so far off from these. But then again, there's differences that if you don't like all the fruitiness and you don't want it as scratchy and synthetic as this, so not as scratchy and synthetic as this, not as fruity as this, you're gonna want Nitro Green. This is what it comes down to. I think that's the most simple way I can explain it, because metallic green, sweet, playful, clubbing type of fragrance as it's known for, just like these, is the same thing here. It smells great. It's of decent quality. I would say better than Ultra Male's quality, up there with 9 p.m.'s quality of smoothness. Performance. Like I said in the intro, 3 for 3 on Beasts, because I've now reviewed Red and Platinum. They're both beastly performers. This as well, this is another one. Every bit of 10 hours of life on my skin is what I've clocked it at multiple times. Let's call it 8 to 10 hours in longevity. It's really 10, and it could go beyond that if I wasn't taking showers at that point. If I was waiting a little bit longer, I'm sure I could clock it even further. Projections on the moderate to heavy side for a solid 2, even going into 2.5 hours, I would say. Not quite a full 3 hours. It starts to calm down quite a bit by the time it hits 3 hours from what I've clocked. But beyond arm's reach, moderate to heavy. And then sillage is on the moderate side. You constantly get whiffs of it. Now, I do go slightly more anosmic to this one than I did to Platinum. And about the same as with red, because red I can pretty much smell the whole time. This I can pretty much smell the whole time. My nose doesn't fade all that quickly. It kind of comes and goes. There's a lull period in the middle, like somewhere in the 4, 5, 6 hour range where it's a little bit fainter, and then as the fragrance calms down more, my nose comes back to life with it, and I can smell it better than I could through that time period, almost like how it was around the 3 or 4 hour mark. So across the board, this stuff's a beast. Final thoughts on Nitro Green from Dumont. I think this is a great pickup. Now, wildly redundant if you have either one of these. You do not need it. Completely redundant. Avoid. Do not buy if you have one of these. But if you don't have either of those, this might be the option for you to go with. Again, I like the green and metallic elements to this one more so than the other two. Which for me, this is actually... It's a toss-up between this and red is my favorite so far. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one an 8.5 out of 10 grade. I'm not quite going to put it in the outstanding range, but it is up there. This is a really, really good fragrance. You got to like sweet. Remember that. You got to like sweet. It is in the vein, very close vein of Ultra Male. There's that metallic and green. So even smelling out the atomizer, I get a little bit of green, but very metallic, spicy. And then there's that sweetness underneath. But when you spray it, you get a lot more of the sweetness. But so far, 3 for 3. This line as a whole is really good. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Dumont's Nitro Green. Thank you again, Perfume Box, for sending this my way. I look forward to checking out even more. Probably going to do Nitro Black Intense next. That was requested in my live stream yesterday at the recording of this, so I'll probably check that one out next. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you tried this and what do you think about it? Do you like it as much or more than 9 p.m. or less? Do you like it as much more or less than Ultra Male? I'm curious. Where would you rank it among the pantheon of Ultra Male scent profiles? And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on Nitro Green and you give it a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.